Mans for the centenary. It's an absolute privilege to be here, really enjoying it. One of the questions I get asked a lot is where do I get design inspiration from? Where do I get names like the swimming pool from, or the Panamericana, or even the Centenaire? The Centenaire is a bit more obvious because of where we are. And so the short film is basically to explain exactly that. The swimming pool came from a conversation I had in lockdown back in April 2020 with a friend of mine, where we were all, I think it was April or May 2020, where we were all sitting around literally just looking at our phones, wishing we were somewhere else and be able to travel. And a friend of mine called me up and he said, what are you doing? I said, we're literally just sitting at home looking at our phones. And he said to me, oh, I'm at the swimming pool. And I said, which swimming pool? He said, the swimming pool in Monaco, which was, a big sort of like, oh, I wish I was there. I wish I could be there. And I suddenly thought, well, we have the swimming pool corner in Monaco. Why can't you have a swimming pool on your wrist? So that's what I started designing. So that's where the inspiration of that particular watch came from. So that was one of my designs, and it's been one of the most popular watches we've ever sold. The Imola Acqua Minerale, that's an obvious one. When I told the factories and the designers that we had to put this curve on a dial, and I have guys in the factory who are not motorsport people, they all thought I'd lost my mind when I said I wanted to put this curve on the dial. And when I demonstrated what it was and why it was so important to call it the Acqua Minerale, they got it. So that was quite a fun one to do. And again, if you're a motorsport fan and you know where that's from, you know exactly what it's about. Le Mans 59 celebrates the first win Aston Martin had at this place, actually, back in 1959, and that was in a car, DBR1, and it had a yellow grille. So if you look at the dial on that particular watch, the number 59 marker is in yellow because the grille of the DBR1 was yellow. So little design details like that I try and pick out, but you can only really get inspiration of that kind of stuff when you're at a racetrack, or you watch films on YouTube, or you read books, you speak to the right people. So a lot of people see me around racetracks, and a lot of people see me around various venues around the world. Firstly, I'm a fan, so it's great to be here, and it's bucket list stuff to be. 2 weeks ago, or was it last week? I was at the Indy 500. The week before that was the 24 Hours of Nürburgring, and here I am at Le Mans Centenary. It's just, but the inspiration comes from talking to people. Sitting in the office, you have tax returns to do, you have orders to ship, you have paperwork. You can't get the inspiration. You have to be in situ to get your brain to think, and it doesn't think straight away. So sometimes you take in stuff here, and it stays in your brain, and then sometimes 2 or 3 months later you suddenly think, hold on a second, I saw that color on that race car, or I saw that detail at the track, or I met this guy and he told me a story about how he was involved in something 60 or 70 years ago. So it comes to you, but you have to store the information. And like any artist, whether you're painting with oils, or whether you're writing books, if you're writing a book on the Galapagos, you can't do it from London. You have to go there. I design watches around motorsport, and I have to be here to be inspired with what to do next and how to do it. Rubber, metals, colors, all that kind of stuff. It sticks in your brain. You can't sit at home and do it. You can't sit in the office and do it. You have to be here. So the journey that I've got is firstly, it's bucket list stuff, like I said before. But secondly, it is about bringing the inspiration to a product that you wear on your wrist. Centenaire is a great inspiration. It's got an antique dial on there. And the reason it's antique is the 100th. There's a famous clock on site which has got a patinaed dial on it. It was white in the beginning, installed here by a jeweler, I think in the early to middle 50s, I think it was. But the clock is still here and it's patinaed. So that was the inspiration for this watch. It's quite a famous clock here, but if you know, you know, and if you don't know it, you just look at it and walk straight past. But the history of that particular brand and that particular clock and why it was put here before the big Swiss companies came, that was the inspiration behind the Centenaire. So the effort goes into the design. The design comes from being around the subject matter that we live, and we use that hashtag a lot. When it comes to subject matter, we live it. And this is exactly what I'm doing today, is I'm living it. It's where I get my inspiration. I mean, it's June now. Inspiration might come in December when I'm sitting there doing nothing between Christmas and New Year. You don't know, but it'll come from somewhere. I hope you enjoyed the journey that we've got. We've got loads of footage being filmed this weekend. And if you've got any questions, you know where I am. Quite easily accessible. And thank you again. Thank you for buying Omologato. Thank you for watching Omologato. Thank you for supporting the sport.